Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, February 12th. So today, the moon is going to be in her place of power in Cancer all day. It did shift into Cancer late last night, definitely put a damper on our heart space, definitely pushed us into retreat mode, but we did kind of end off the day with some profound insight, and we are starting to make sense of some of the things that have transpired, and we are doing the work, the inner work that is needed to get our heart and our head on the same page. We have a relatively quiet day in the cosmos today. There are 8 different aspects taking place here today, and 7 of them involve this moon in Cancer. We have to expect that our intuition is high, that we are overwhelmed, that we are hypersensitive, and very much stimulated when it comes to our heart space. The very first thing we got going on is Mercury trining the true node. Now, this is the only aspect that does not include the moon, and Mercury, of course, ruler of the mental plane in his post-shadow period, trying to wake up, trying to make sense of all the things that have transpired. We've definitely had a shift in our mental plane, a shift in our perspective, new ideas to work with, new insights, providing clarity on what it is that we need to do from here. The true node is trying to show us where it is that we need to align ourselves in order to actually bring the dreams, the visions, the goals to life. Mercury trining with the true node is going to show us the mental progress that we've been making, the narratives that we've been building, which should be in a more healthy, encouraged, supportive kind of tone. This is going to open our mental planes to new ideas. This is going to show us the pieces coming together, the strategy that is needed in order for the new path forward to unfold. This is definitely a lighter, brighter type of narrative that we've been experiencing compared to the last couple of days. And it's definitely going to show us where we are actually putting the pieces together, one foot in front of the other, making the right kinds of logical, practical moves and plans in order to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we want to be. Now, the moon is going to bump into the sun and is going to square Chiron, and this is definitely going to put us in a little bit of a funk. Why? Well, the moon in Cancer typically is very nostalgic, very attached to the past. This Cancerian energy, very nurturing, very intuitive, highly emotional, definitely wants to hold on to elements from the past. But we've been going through this process where we realize that our attachments to the past is actually what's blocking us from standing in our vibration and frequency that we need to be standing in order to actually accept and invite in some of the blessings, some of the prayers that we have been praying for. When the moon bumps into the sun, this is definitely going to highlight for us where it is that we are split between our past selves and our future selves, not knowing what to do in order to create a cohesive wholeness within us right now, being at peace to leave some of the old topics and themes behind, and truly embracing the nervousness, the anxiety, the excitement that comes with branching off into new territory. Yes, we're insecure. Yes, we are having very extreme doubts. We don't feel supported in our physical realms to make these kinds of changes, but yet our intuition is telling us that this is what we need to do. We also are recognizing where it is that we're lacking some boundaries in our earthly realm. We're definitely going to have some people test us. Again, may I remind you that when we do the inner work, when we make a move forward, when we raise our vibration and frequency, we are always going to be tested in our realms to see whether or not we can walk the walk, talk the talk, and if that dark force agenda can suck us back into those lower vibrations and frequencies. The moon is going to trine Jupiter, make a beautiful harmonious aspect with Saturn, and then sextile Uranus. This is exactly what we need, especially slipping into that dark hole there just then. This is where we recognize the spiritual lessons that are trying to show us our strength, our determination, our willpower. This is a lesson in trusting our intuition. This is a lesson in leaning in to our dreams, into our creativity, to come up with some very out-of-the-box solutions to some of the problems that we've been facing. This is emotional boss up at its finest. We are gaining clarity. We are lightening the load on our heart space and our head space. We are making efforts to get them in alignment, get them on the same page. We are starting to see the bigger vision unfold, and we are starting to actually feel a little bit more positive about some of the things that we know within ourselves that we have to change, that we have to let go of, that we have to embrace as far as the futuristic element in order for us to get to where it is that we desire to be. The moon is going to semi-square the true node though, and this is where we kind of get stuck and attached to the past again. Just when we did so good trying to visualize the future, that moon in Cancer sucks us back, looking back over the past. Why? Well, because we're having a hard time moving on, especially because a lot of this attachment is coming from our family, from the hurt, from the pain, from the drama, from the trauma. You know, there's a lot of flashbacks coming up, especially where memories are concerned and the emotions that accompany it, in order for us to accept and acknowledge that it happened so that we can process it, we can integrate it from this new perspective, this new observer mode, and release it for good. But it doesn't feel good. Especially seeing how just when we recognize that, you know, we're having a hard time letting go from these aspects of pain and suffering, because many of us have really kind of integrated our pain story as part of our identity, the moon goes ahead and opposes Mars. So we're sitting across the table from Mars. And as you know, Mars rules our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, our anger. And he's in Capricorn, frustrated as hell, because we have to go low and slow right now in order to bring new elements to life and manifest what it is we need in our lives to rely upon. Mars wants to go fast and take action and think about the consequences later. And this Capricorn energy is saying, no, we can't fly by the seat of our pants. We have to be logical and practical and strategic in the moves in which we are making. So the moon is sitting across from Mars right now. And let me tell you, there are some triggers happening here. We are getting angered. We are getting frustrated. We may even have the tendency to act out. We might even just act on our feels, which would not be a good thing. That will create some drama. That will create a mess for us to clean up later. But here's the thing. Right now, this is a war within ourselves that's being manifested in outside situations. This Cancer energy is very feminine, and this Mars energy is very masculine. And we are building towards Venus and Mars, the feminine and masculine divine energies, conjuncting, coming together, which means that we get a balance point. But right now, we have to kind of put it out all on the table and see what part of us is kind of unstable at this particular point in time. And our emotions are winning. We are very unstable in our emotions, very much leaning into the aggressive side of our emotions, very, very frustrated with not seeing the kind of productivity in our physical realms that we would have wanted to see by now. We feel stalled out. We feel blocked. We feel frustrated. And of course, the family drama and the pain and the suffering and the flashbacks coming up from all that we've gone through is just not helping the cause. May I remind you, though, we have to go through these dark parts to process them from this new set of eyes that we now have so that we can pluck out the silver linings. We can see very, very clearly where it is that we do have to let go of some of these old attachments that we might have been hesitant to let go earlier on in the day. And now with this, new anger and frustration taking over, we are very, very much, how do I want to say this? We are not putting up with this shit. We are letting go a lot easier than we would have just a couple of hours ago. But sometimes when you push us into the back of the corner here and you really kind of remind us that we're tired of being walked over, we're tired of being talked down to, we're tired of not being honored in the way that we know we should be being honored, sometimes we don't have a problem cutting those cords. And sometimes we don't have near as hard of a problem letting go from old people, old scenarios, old ideas, old soul contracts, and old family dynamics.